What's happening for him? So, when a toy line is successful, naturally other companies are going to want a piece of the pie. Whether it's taking clear inspiration, ripping off, or just straight up making bootlegs, it's one of the biggest signs something has cultural relevance. Beyblade is no stranger to this. Infinity Nano may be one that comes to mind first. Others may know a little show called Swirl Fighter, but have you heard of Top Plate? I haven't. I haven't actually heard about it until fairly recently, but it's relevant to the subject of today's video. It's not the subject of today's video, but is relevant, so we gotta go through a little history lesson first, okay? Just follow me here. Trust the process. So, Sonokong, a Korean toy company, has quite the history attached to it. We don't have to go through all 50-ish years. We'll just skip straight to the relevant parts. They had a fairly close relationship with Takara, and ended up being their South Korean distributor. Naturally, this led to them distributing Beyblade. They held the license throughout Bakuten and Metal Fight. In 2013, teaming up with their media offshoot, Choi Rock, they said, hey, what if we just made our own Beyblade? I assume this might have been in response to how Metal Fight kind of fell off towards the end, but your guess is as good as mine. Top Plate dropped, and Mr. Takara told me really wasn't a fan. They lost the license shortly afterwards. Young Toys now holds the license for both Burst and X in South Korea. This didn't scare Sonokong and Choi Rock though, no. They continue to release new franchises throughout the 2010s. One you may have heard of, Turning Mechard, actually got a North American release. Briefly. Until they got sued by Spin Master for allegedly infringing upon Bakugan. Choi Rock and Sonokong won, mind you, but this seems to be a running issue for them. Choi Rock and Sonokong parted ways in 2021, and Choi Rock now distributes their own toys. Their first new franchise is an independent company, Charging Topspinner. That's right, buddy, they sure did do it again! Charging Topspinner isn't just about tops. Choi Rock asked a big question. What if top, but also fidget spinner? That's right, baby! ADHD representation in my hobby, Annie! Woo! I have yet to find a decent means of importing the toys so I could check them out myself. Mostly because I'm too lazy to, I'm gonna be real. I have, however, watched the show. It's available on YouTube, technically unsubbed, but you could auto-translate the subs. This is by no means accurate. It probably misses a lot of the intricacies of the dialogue, but it at least allows me to follow the basic plot. I was a big fan of Turning Mechard, well, at least the first half of Mechard, so I am curious to see what Choi Rock has to offer here. What I got was honestly kind of by the numbers, I'm not gonna lie. Kid named Shin's brother Doyle just lost the Top Spinner World Championship. Doyle suffers a mysterious accident and is left in a coma. And Shin decides there's only one way to fix this. It's to win the next championship. However, Doyle isn't just in any coma. Doyle is in an isekai coma. We get bits and pieces about the coma throughout the season. Our first arc is the Introducing Cast and Toys arc. Like, not terrible, just not super exciting. I really like that the American kid is a cowboy named Billy, and he uses a frickin' whip to launch his fidget spinner. I'm also a big fan of the French girl, Francois, who 100% has something going on with Siona. This show actually is a pretty good balance of female characters in general, and does a lot better with them than a lot of Beyblade seasons. We'll dig into one of those characters more in a moment. After we meet the gang, and before we enter the tournament arc, the main cast has something they need to figure out. They all approach their assigned rivals because they have a big problem. They don't know what a core skill is. What is a core skill, you may ask? Come on, bro. Everyone knows what a damn core skill is. It's the ability to just summon shit. So, like, the entire time, the show has had Beyblade-like avatars, but it felt like it was just some kind of visual metaphor. If you forget about the entire isekai coma going on, you may forget there was a fantastical element going on to begin with. It's like they speed ran the revelations of Burst's first 3 seasons regarding avatars in the span of about 10 episodes. And, like, is cool. I love Hobby Annie nonsense, but the way it gets thrown at you is like, this guy hasn't even unlocked his core skill yet. It's a normal thing nobody questions at all, but only the true fidget spinner aficionados know about it. Like, yeah, you can psychically place your fidget spinner back in the arena, sure. Again, it's all very basic Hobby Annie, but just something about the way it was presented made me go insane when they just dropped that like that. There's a specific episode I want to highlight in the tournament arc, because it kind of threw me for a loop. So, there's this little Russian girl named Zhenya who we were introduced to earlier in the series. When she was introduced, she kind of irked me. Nothing wrong with her herself, but it was just more her role that didn't feel right to me at first. She was the training partner of Logan, the show's main rival. She had known him since childhood and she had always trained with him. She grew up thinking her entire purpose was serving him. By episode 16, this is hammered in even more. Her own father tells her she's not allowed to beat Logan. Her only concern should be seeing him win. Part of me really doesn't think this was completely their intention, but it does feel a lot like the pressure that is often placed on the young girls to be good future wives to their future husband. Could I be thinking way too deep into this? Yeah, but that's kind of what I'm here to do, let's be real. Her and Logan's genders are never really brought up during this, but I feel like it does really affect the implications of their dynamic. Thankfully, the entirety of episode 16 is about her breaking free from that mindset. She is pitted against Logan in the national tournament and wants to challenge him for real. She unfortunately loses. We gotta keep Logan in the game for plot reasons, but this is still a huge moment for her. She no longer has to live in his shadow. Their status have been updated to rivals. Even Logan welcomes this, showing this kind of mindset has to be broken on both sides. My concerns for a character were gone after this episode, and I think she's probably my favorite character in the show. So, what was going on with that coma again? Yeah, we kind of forgot about that. So there's this alternate world called Tyannis, currently under siege by an organization called Black Poker. Their leader? Joker. Shin's brother Doyle. Sorta. They seem to have 2 separate minds, but their spirits are connected in some way. Joker could only be active when Doyle is asleep. Joker was awakened after a character named Jack came to Earth and attacked Doyle in a park. I am a little lost on how exactly this works, but this very likely could just be stuff getting lost in the Google translated subs. The show starts getting really interesting once we actually look at the Tyannis War, but as soon as we do, the season ends. Season 2 is when we're gonna actually focus on that. This show has 26 episode seasons, so I guess this would make sense as the midpoint of a 50-ish episodes show. It's still a little annoying that once we finally get to that point, the show has to take a hiatus, but oh well, that's how it is sometimes. Would I call it a Beyblade ripoff? It's more just a very standard Hobby Annie that also happens to be about tops. I mostly keep referencing it because it's the easiest point of comparison. There are enough spinning top shows from East Asia at this point that you could argue that it's just its own subgenre and an already niche microgenre. The isekai element is already enough to make it feel different. I feel like season 2 is gonna feel a hell of a lot more like turning Mechard than Beyblade, but I guess we just gotta wait and see for that. Hold on. I'm getting a call. Hello? Turn on the TV. Why? Turn on the news. What? They hit the Pentagon!
3, 2, 1, Charging! 공격력 업! 어택 어택! 익스트림 KO! 차징 탑스피너 BX!
Come on, man! I was rooting for you! I was really trying to hear you out here! Well, at least the show is going to be nothing like Beyblade. More like Bay Raiders, if anything. And it's not like anybody watched that, so we're fine here. Thanks for watching.